Republic blows the lid of the 1,000 crore national crypto scam. Modus operandi of the fake loans app exposed. In a massive crackdown on crypto irregularities, raids conducted in various cities of the country. Republic Media Network's investigation exposes how the proceeds of the cryptocurrency scam were routed to China. It's a new wave of nationalism ahead of the 75th Independence Day. No more suppressing nationalism. Ladies and gentlemen, in a mega multi-city investigation, Republic TV has unearthed what is perhaps the biggest financial expose of 2022. Now, in the last few weeks, the Republic has been reporting on the national crackdown on cryptocurrencies, where millions may have been scammed and duped. The investigation also unearths links to Chinese loan sharks who cheat Indians to send the monies back to China. Even as several raids and investigations are conducted into the crypto irregularities, the question is raised, is it time to ban crypto now? The bigger question that basically arises from this very investigation is the fact that how exactly are crypto exchanges operating in this country without much regulation? It also turns out that these crypto exchanges are not even doing what many would say due diligence. Forget about those whose lives have essentially been spoiled simply because their loans that they had taken, they've been duped, and then they make windfall profits. This money then is sent outside the country. Large part of it has actually gone to China. We debate after this report.
What could be perhaps the biggest financial expose of 2022, Multi-City Republic investigation has unearthed massive irregularities in cryptocurrency operations.
This windfall profits, the enforcement directed suspects, is the proceeds of crime which they wanted to take out of India. In doing so, these fintech companies started approaching the crypto exchanges. We are given to understand that roughly about 9 to 10 such crypto exchanges could have laundered about 1,000 crore rupees.
The scam involves a web of Chinese links, dubious loan apps, and crypto exchanges. It was found that many fintech firms were functioning as per companies. However, none of the companies could be traced to their listed addresses, even as the employees claimed that the operations were online.
There was a trap that was basically laid. Borrowers would take the money and there was a very short period of loan repayment. In fact, there was a steep interest that was levied, and not just that, there was a processing charge that was also levied the moment a borrower had asked for money. This entire processing charge turned out to become the profit that most of these fintech companies were making.
Amid the expose, Mumbai DCP Cyber Hemraj Singh Rajput said that the city police received more than 30 complaints of victims who fell into the dubious loan app's trap.
This year itself, we got around 30 odd complaints of different victims throughout the Mumbai. And in these complaints, they were harassed by these online loan apps.
In the latest, ED conducted raids at another crypto exchange, and ED funds to the tune of Rs 370 crore were frozen. But with more and more discrepancies emerging in the operations, is it time to completely ban crypto now? A Republic mega investigation.
Joining us on the very quick question are NS Napinai, is an advocate Supreme Court and also the founder of Cyber Sathi, Nikhil Mahadeshwar, who's the founder of Cyber Secured India, Jiten Jain, cybersecurity expert, will also be joined in by a victim in a short while from now. Rohas Nagpal, chief blockchain architect of the hybrid finance blockchain and author of the Future Money Playbook, Chandi Shah, co-founder Panther Quinn, and Manoj Jain Vidigo, co-founder and blockchain expert. Let me straight away take this first question with NS Napinai, just to put this into perspective, what's really emerged through this entire day of our reportage is the fact that thousands of people were basically duped. But the question comes back to the crypto exchanges. NS Napinai, I'm given to understand that most of these crypto exchanges were not basically carrying out what the investigators call EDD, or an extra due diligence. So basically that leaves the room for the fraudulent practices that we are seeing right now is absolutely rampant.
Absolutely, Shravan. Now, here is where it all started. When crypto exchanges commenced and they were doing it more in a self-regulatory mechanism, one of the first things that they claimed was that they had put in place KYC norms and transparency in terms of the transactions on the exchange to ensure that it would not result in money laundering. Today, when you look at this particular situation and what has happened, and also the fallout instance of Binance claiming that it has now stopped off-chain transactions with WazirX, the issue that comes up immediately in my mind is that when you talk about off-chain, that by itself then promotes money laundering, because you're trying to remove the transparency and the accountability that technology brings in through blockchain and bringing in what is akin to Hawala transactions. So while one aspect is about due diligence, the other is about following norms which the industry itself laid down for itself. And in a way, when you take it off chain, it could amount to, in effect, reaching what they themselves put in as a self-regulatory mechanism. And by doing that, if it has, this is, it is preliminary stage. I'm not saying any exchange has done it, but if they have indulged in using this as a means to launder money, then they are definitely in deep trouble.
Well, in fact, I'll put out those facts in a short while from now. As far as money laundering activities are concerned, at least suspected money laundering activities, Rohas Nagpal, why shouldn't we at this stage demand that there should be a ban imposed on crypto exchanges? Let me just cite one example. I've spoken to multiple agencies who've been looking into this matter. Now, it turns out, forget about everything else, one of the larger concerns that I would say is security. In the interest of the nation, where we are compromising with our security, what is turning out, at least as far as what's happening right now in Jammu and Kashmir, I'm given to understand that you have terror groups, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, actually using cryptocurrencies, all because it's now become far more difficult for any sort of exchange to take place, and that is the reason why cryptocurrencies or crypto exchanges, without any adequate kind of mechanism in place, it's like a free fall. Mr. Nagpal, that question was for you. We'll try and go across to Mr. Nagpal in a short while from now. I think so. There seems to be some problem. Chandni Shah, if you can take that question that I was asking Rohas Nagpal with regards to why shouldn't there be a demand right now as far as ban on cryptocurrency is concerned?
So, see, right now, when we are talking about cryptocurrency, especially in India, right? The cryptocurrency is at a very nascent stage. It's like in 99 when the internet came and people were not able to understand the technology. So they were asking for a ban of the technology without understanding. The problem in India is that we have so many experts of this technology, but no one able to deliver the basic understanding of what cryptocurrency is and what blockchain technology is before letting the people invest into cryptocurrency or letting invest into any tokens. There is a very, very strong need of understanding the technology first, how it is going to help not just the individuals, but also the big corporates. right? Now, right now, if we completely ban the cryptocurrency, it is going to take us a long way backwards in terms of technological evolution. Right now, what we need is a proper
okay,
change
Chandni,
of education for the Indians.
I'm afraid.
Hello. Yes.
Chandni, I'm afraid about one thing, and that is while it's all good to say that, okay, look here, we're talking embracing new technology, we're all for it. But the fact of the matter is that it has been in existence for quite some time now. In fact, if you simply go by the UN report, 7% of Indians are actually using it. So it's not that the government has also come to any sort of conclusion at this point in time. But there are, as the government points out, there is a dangerous trend. There is something dangerous about the cryptocurrency, and Chandni, that being, we have already raised about the security concerns. And secondly, I'll come to those, threadbare, I'll lay out all the reasons why there is a larger concern, and perhaps Nikhil can also respond to this. But Chandni, I just want you to think about it before you continue by saying that, okay, you're drawing a parallel with the kind of reactions that came in or poured in when internet was being introduced. But there is a world of difference as far as cryptocurrency and internet is concerned.
I completely agree to your point that there are many cons of this technology. For example, there is money laundering being done through cryptocurrency. There are fundings being done for illicit activities through cryptocurrency. But again, when there were hawalas done by cash, that tracking that cash was way much difficult than right now with the technology of cyber, like the cyber technology that we've available worldwide, not only in worldwide but also in India. We have a very vast cyber technology available. With that technology, it is easier to track the cryptocurrency trail than to track a cash trail of hawala. That is also a fact. So if there is any illicit activities that is funded through digital means, whether it's through... Yes?
You can continue, but I'll also intervene with some more facts. I would like to bring in some more facts, but make your point, but then I'll also tell you why the concern that I'm talking about is legitimate. Complete your point, and then I'll also make a point, and then perhaps bring in Nikhil.
I am totally in sync with you when you say that the concern is legitimate. Yes, the concern is legitimate. Do we have an option, like another option other than just banning? Yes, we do have. Is banning the only thing that is required right now? No, it's not. As you said that, the illicit activities are being funded through cryptocurrency. Yes, they are being funded. Were they being funded through cash first? Yes, they were being funded. Was there money laundering being done through cash first? Yes, it was being done. Were there drug dealings being done through cash first? Yes, it was being done. Terrorism was being funded through cash first? Yes, it was being done. Was it very difficult to track? Yes, it was extremely difficult to track. I understand there are the blockchain tech. That's the reason I said the basic need to understand is the blockchain technology. The nodes that are run, each and every transaction is recorded. Once it's done, it's recorded. You can go through each and every transaction from which
so if it is recorded, Chandni, that's the point I want to ask. Good that you raised this point, Chandni.
Yes.
Chandni, yes. Good that you basically raised this point about everything is recorded. Now, let me just highlight one simple thing. Now, there is a document that I have with me. This is with regards to a FEMA case that was basically registered. And interestingly, this is what the Enforcement Directorate basically says. As per their own admission, that is Zanmai Labs, everyone knows about Zanmai Labs and WazirX. They've allowed transactions between the wallets of WazirX and unknown wallets to the extent of cryptocurrency worth 2,790 crore rupees. According to WazirX, they have no way of knowing which of these transactions and how much of these transactions happened between resident Indian to resident Indian or resident Indian to foreign to non-resident. It is apparently Zanmai themselves making that admission. Now, please tell me how exactly is it so very easily traceable? And if it is traceable, then why exactly all these crypto exchanges, why are they so very queasy? I want Nikhil to respond. Nikhil, What Chandni basically is making, the point that she's trying to make or underscore is the fact that are we really scared because this is some sort of a new technology, blockchain technology has been brought in? Why are we so wary about it? It's something like what she's been talking about way back in the 90s when the internet came in, we were wary about it. But there is something more to it.
Yeah. So let us understand the threat part of it. So whenever you install such applications, you never know actually what type of permissions they are taking in your phone, maybe in your browsers and things. We just click next, accept. And there are applications which are non-legitimate here also. And they are being downloaded not from the Play Store, but from the unknown sources. And there is where the threat is that your photos are being shared. Your basically your whole phone is in their we can say access or in their custody virtually, not physically. Even if it is downloaded from Play Store and App Store, again there were applications which were removed after some law enforcement agencies have reported their concerns to Google Play Store and App Store. So again, it is not a very easy thing to reach to them, as Chandni really said that yes, we have technology, we have cyber technology, but now there are anti-technologies also, which basically hardens the role of an investigator, cyber investigator, to basically catch the actual cheater or to catch the actual attacker. And there are proxy technologies which are used nowadays. So that is also really important. And talking about responding about your question about this, there is everything on the record. But when law enforcement agencies are asking these companies about the records and everything, so it is they are not in the position of cooperation, and not all the records are being shared with the law enforcement agencies. As of now, you can check with any of the law enforcement agencies who are investigating this, and this is not a single case. There are multiple cases. This is a really nice campaign which Republic TV has taken ahead. Also, talking about the current norms which Reserve Bank of India may it be or may it be any of the regulatory thing they have. They are not being followed, and there is no as such monitoring on it or we can say supervising on it.
Nikhil.
Yes.
This entire thing of blockchain, that even Chandni was talking about. Manoj Jain is an expert, I'm given to understand, on blockchain. Manoj Jain, as far as blockchain is concerned, why don't you basically record all the transactions on the blockchain to avoid the gas fee? And secondly, as far as the FATF is concerned, all of us need to be compliant. FATF recommendation number 14 talks about regulation of money or value transfer services. Let me try and simplify that. What would essentially mean that everyone is basically duty point. Anyone who is basically engaging in this value transfer services, you have to be compliant. They are duty bound to follow the KYC norms and also take steps for the CFT compliances. Cryptocurrency exchanges are transferring cryptocurrencies which have value in real terms. So basically, ineffective, they need to be compliant as far as recommendation number 14 of the FATF is concerned. So the question that I want to ask you is that why is it so very difficult to record all of this?
Yeah, so Shravan, FATF travel rules say that when you are doing transactions between two addresses, the details of the person who is doing transactions are to be transferred to the receiving address and from receiving address to the sending address, and that's what exchanges are preparing themselves to. I have a lot of points to say here. One is we are kind of right from morning we are being believed to we are being told to believe that these loan apps are cryptocurrency scams. They are not cryptocurrency scams. Understand? There's an app. There's a Google store involved, right? There's a NBFC involved. There's only an exit part.
Believe that the loan apps.
Let me complete.
No, 1 second.
So there is only
which
in
part
the
of the
exit
investigation
part.
did you not understand?
So you understand this? They are fintech apps.
When you say that you are made to believe that these loan apps are connected to
loan
crypto
scams. Look, Shravan,
how exactly
these are
are you
loan
coming to that
scams.
conclusion?
These are loan scams, and we have been seeing loan scams. Yeah, we have been seeing loan scams for decades in India. Right now, what is happening? These Chinese companies taking out money, that's pure money laundering, and I agree with this. Now, coming to the exchange side, on the exchange side, we have all the KYC norms being followed. Now, I want to share here one thing where you talked about 2,700.
I just read out.
Yeah.
Now KYC, when you talk about Manoj Jain, when you talk about the KYC, you need to also tell our viewers who are joining in right now, tuning in right now, because people are interested and some people may not look at the fine print. Manoj Jain, are you aware of Section 11A of the PMLA Act?
No, I am not aware. I am a tech side guy, but I can tell you that Indian exchanges were following.
Let me just tell you a little bit more. It's good that I'll take the opportunity to help you out. Now, I'll also, Jiten Jain can also come in. Manoj Jain, I'll tell you why I'm referring to Section 11A of the PMLA Act. Now, what happens is that, what happens in the case of a bank? A bank also does a KYC. Do you agree? Yep. Now, when the bank basically does a KYC, there is a due diligence that is done. That is, you verify that. You verify the credentials of the person who's basically coming to your place. Now, look at this scenario. While you may want to detach it, but I'm coming back to the same issue. You have certain companies who are basically fly-by-night companies. They come to you with over 100 crore rupees. And all that they are saying is that open up a wallet here, open up a wallet in some other country, and all that the money is pushed off. You tell me, Manoj Jain, shouldn't that actually raise an alarm? And shouldn't there be some sort of a verification? Yes, because I'm given to understand. I spoke to a lot of these crypto exchanges. They're all saying that, look here, we follow KYC norms are all followed. It turns out it is all for namesake. So it's all that you're doing is simply taking someone's Aadhaar card or someone's, a photograph, and that's about it. Is that what you call? The EDD in your parlance?
So there are stricter KYC guidelines for higher value transactions, which exchanges are following. I do not know the specific case. However, I also want to comment on one specific point which has been discussed here about 2,700 crore rupees being exchanged between few wallets. Now, let me share with you. Indian cryptocurrency exchanges, like any fintech company, use a lot of services from outside, right? Cryptocurrency or decentralized space is global space. We take custodial services from outside India because there's no custodial services are in India, right? So if the exchange account is connected to the custodial services account, which is generally approved or connected with a bank, nothing wrong in that. We need to, as Roshni has said, we need to understand what blockchain is all about before talking about that it's all been scammed. No, it's not. Not everything is scam. We have smart contract reducing efficiency, improving efficiency, reducing, all kind of intermediation. And those smart contracts are coming in our daily life. I'm not talking about these Chinese apps. Chinese apps have been apps, they're criminals. But there are decentralized lending apps which is serving people.
No, I understand. Manoj Jain, nowhere in our report also are we basically saying that that's the only concern, that these Chinese apps, money that is being flushed by China and Hong Kong, and it's directly linked to the crypto exchange. But that's one way of telling you why there is a problem with crypto exchanges. That's one of the many problems. We'll come to one of those problems. Jiten Jain, Manoj Jain is absolutely well within his rights to say that, look here, you are basically looking at these loan apps as the crypto scam. Nowhere have we said that it is the same. We are basically trying to explain it to all our viewers how this is actually happening, and there is a process that is in place, and that is exactly how these crypto exchanges are essentially functioning. And there are enough investigative documents that we have accessed in which there is a clear mention of the same. But Jiten Jain, answering what Manoj Jain had to say, I want a point-by-point rebuttal on what are the issues as far as crypto exchange is concerned, and why is the government really calling it dangerous?
And I partially agree with Chandni and Manoj, and I agree with Napinai also. See, it's not a black and white picture. You can't choose a side. There is no doubt that crypto is going to be the future. It is going to stay, and blockchain has enormous advantages. It is also a fact that 99% market of this instant loan apps is an absolute scam, and most of them are run by Chinese, and they are operating scams at multiple levels. First of all, to give any loan to anyone, you have to have some money with yourself. Where has that money come from? That initial capital of these companies, where has they come from? Which are the non-banking financial institutions which are involved supporting these fake fintech companies? Second, how is it possible that these companies are able to make profits of 2,000 crores, 3,000 crores, and Chinese nationals have been able to procure fake Aadhaar cards, impersonating some northeastern citizens of India? How is that possible that for so long they have made so much of money, and if after 2 years, 3 years, you figure out these are all Chinese citizens? Third, it is not about one company, two companies. There are hundreds. I mean, 1.5 years ago, we exposed 30 companies on a different channel. Then there is a Hyderabad case where I think almost 20,000 crore scam was detected by ADG of Telangana police. Then you have 6 months or a year back, RBI forming a committee still, and certain apps were banned. Still, we have not less than 50 apps still operating. So we have to figure out where is our preventive policing, where is our cyber hygiene in place, what are our agencies doing? And these are not operating below the radar. They are openly SMSing you, just telling you, especially the college kids and youngsters who do not have money, that just give us your Aadhaar card and download this app, you will have 50,000 rupees in your account. That's scam number one. And there is a bigger problem here. The app you download to get the loan is a malware. All of them are malware which are...
We're getting one thing completely wrong.
Can I complete, please, without interrupting?
But Jiten Jain. Yeah.
120 seconds.
No, Jiten Jain, the problem here is that the problem. No.
20 seconds. Just 120 seconds. Please allow me. So the scam number two, that in massive blackmail of Indian citizens where students have been driven to suicide. Now scam number three, this exorbitant interest rate of 200%, 300% per month which have been charged by these fake fintech companies, where is that money going? Now there comes the role of crypto exchanges, because it is very difficult to move this much of cash or money from conventional banking channels. So they approach some crypto exchanges. Now crypto exchanges, on the face of it, they tell everyone that we follow strong AML guidelines. We do Aadhaar KYC. We take money only from your bank account and give money only in our bank account. Till there it is fine. But the bigger problem is that which is being exposed by ED and your investigation is that some of these exchanges have allegedly allowed these fake fintech companies to carry out off-the-record non-KYC transactions to some non-KYC wallets, which is where the bigger scam is. Now, if that is the case, and there is another allegation that one of the biggest exchanges in India was in proxy or indirectly owned by a Chinese company. And if that is the case, I think it is a matter worth investigating. So we should not simply write this issue off as a crypto scam or a long scam. There is a scam operating at multiple levels, and it questions our ability to detect these scams and deal with this. Now, the question one we have to ask is how many apps are operating and how do we stop them within a week? Two, it is not the money you are, ED is raiding and detaching is just 20 crores, 40 crores. The actual scam is thousands of crores. How do we get that money back, and who are the real individuals who have blessed these scams? They should be punished. Who are these NBFCs who actually back these finance companies with the money? They have to be punished, and these people have to be thrown in jail. You just can't pick up some people. Pick up everyone who was involved.
I've given you enough time. No, there seems to be some problem, trying to link this. The attempt is not to link. And Rose Nagpal, if I can come to you right now, you've been waiting for quite some time. Rose Nagpal, put this, we are not trying to link it by saying that, look here, this loan app is the crypto scam. That's not what we are trying to say. We are basically highlighting the fact that through that is one big area, a lacuna area, and that's exactly where we are trying to say, if that can happen, there are several others. For instance, now that basically does not come across in everyone's mind. For example, there is a report that we did just about 2 days ago on This Is Exclusive, where we essentially spoke about the fact that today security agencies in Jammu and Kashmir are basically looking at how cryptocurrencies are essentially being misused by terror groups. And in fact, there are certain maps that we have accessed by Republic TV, and the origin is from Pakistan, goes into Middle Eastern countries, finally lands in Kashmir. It's become far more easier. And that is the reason why let's for a moment forget about the enforcement directorate. I'm talking about directly what security agencies are talking about, even the National Investigation Agency is talking about. Hence, we're trying to highlight that. Rohit Nagpal, this is the reason why I'm saying that regulation or no regulation. The problem here is that when you have a system like this where there is so much of anonymity, it becomes far more easier to misuse it.
Sure. So, in fact, let me first give where the exchanges are going wrong, and then I'll talk about what is the best solution. So, we talk about KYC, but that's only a small part. Know your customer is one thing, and then there is AML, and then there is CFT. I think you gave a very good example that if a company comes to you and gives you 100 crores and says, I want to transfer this out, why did that not raise any red flags? So while the company may have undergone a very good KYC, obviously the exchanges are not following anti-money laundering or countering the financing of terrorism. AML CFT is not being done. That's one major mistake. Another thing is when these exchanges started to advertise that buy Bitcoin worth 100 rupees and you will become a millionaire. Now that brought in a lot of very uneducated and not well-to-do people, and they started putting a lot of money into crypto, which I think was a very, very bad move. Now, one point which is raised is about why are off-chain transactions permitted? So here I'd like to say it's a two-sided sword. So while Bitcoin and certain other cryptos have a transparent blockchain where you can see transactions, there is a whole category called privacy coins. For example, Monero. Even if you analyze the blockchain, you get to know nothing. Who sent how much to whom? No way to come to know. So that's a two-edged sword which works. I believe that the only way forward is that the crypto exchanges should be regulated exactly the way stock markets are regulated. So where you have the Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, there is a very clear list of laws and a regulator like SEBI which governs them. I think all crypto exchanges must also be governed in the similar way. Another thing is crypto exchanges must be Indian companies only. And I believe as of right now, crypto should be restricted only to HNI investors, high net worth investors, because crypto is a very complex financial instrument. It requires a very high level of tech savviness and financial savviness. And I believe we should restrict it to the HNIs. As of right now, even VC funding is restricted to certain kinds of people. And I believe the same thing should happen for crypto. So I'm not in favor of a ban. I'm in favor of very heavy regulation, just the way the forex markets are regulated and the stock markets are regulated.
Okay. Rohit Nagpal, you've made your point. Let me bring in Enes Napinai right now to respond to some of the concerns. Enes Napinai, almost you've heard everyone who's basically arguing this entire thing that look here, we are not looking for any sort of a complete ban because, it is the way forward. Some say it is the way forward. But what I'm essentially seeing that this has been in existence for a while. Let's also understand that when I'm raising this entire concern about the anonymity and the scope of misusing could be way larger. In fact, Chandni says that are we not really looking at some sort of cash transactions that are basically taking place where there is also, hawala transactions are taking place. Can't you really track it? Yes, you can track it. So if that is happening there, why only look at cryptocurrencies? Is there a larger concern, Napinai?
Absolutely. And that's why I've been a little over enthusiastic in trying to want to intervene. So the first point which Charmi made, which I wanted to intervene on, is there was a lot of reference to technology. And that's a little misleading when you're talking about crypto, because the technology that we are referring to here is blockchain. And I don't think any of us have an issue with blockchain or with that technology being perpetuated and utilized. The issue really arises in terms of is there a possibility of usage of blockchain dehors cryptocurrency? And often you hear people argue that it is interlinked and therefore it cannot be delineated. That's another debate altogether. But the short response from me is, one, please let us not use generic terms like let's not stifle technology when we are speaking about crypto, because what we are speaking about when we say technology is blockchain. And in effect, one could identify crypto as a product of blockchain or a use case. It is not interlinked. At best, crypto could be called the gas that is needed to run blockchain, and there are alternatives to that too, which needs to be explored by regulators if they want to nuance the regulation that is needed for this domain. The second aspect that was brought out by Manoj Jain was about how blockchain is very sound, it has smart contracts, etc. And that's where the issue which I raised and which was added on to by Rohas also becomes relevant. When you go off chain, the whole idea is not about the equivalent of Monero, which cannot be tracked anyway. It is about going off chain, and that Bitcoin or that cryptocurrency, which could have otherwise been tracked. So, the difficulty for people who did that is you're consciously then circumventing a law which mandates transparency. You're consciously using a channel to launder money, or possibly even the simplest or the, I would say, the lowest end of the spectrum is you're also trying to avoid the tax that the government of India has now imposed, right? So in that circumstance, we are not talking about the feasibility of absolute anonymity that some coins bring.
I think so. Manoj wants to respond.
The willful, yes. Before that, just to complete my argument on this aspect, it is correct, and I have often said this, that we can use money, fiat currency also for terrorism, funding terrorism, or for money laundering, etc. It's absolutely right. But that's not the point here, that merely because you can use A and you're not banning it, should you allow the other? I think we need to understand that it is a nuanced aspect of it, yes. And we have to ensure that we understand what is cryptocurrency and what the ails are with it, and then address that aspect.
I think so. NS Napina, you basically evoked a lot of responses. In fact, Chandni and Manoj also wants to come in. But before I go across to my guests, I'll request you all to, bear with me, as we have a special guest who is joining us on this broadcast. And the reason why we are bringing him in right now, because what has essentially happened through the day is that we have got countless number of people calling into our newsroom the moment we started speaking about how thousands and thousands of people have essentially been duped. There is no exact number, but with the amount of people who are basically calling in by saying that they've been duped, it's unimaginable. In fact, we have one such person. We are not revealing his identity, but all that I would like to ask him is with regards to how exactly was he duped, because I'm given to understand that there was an investment that was essentially made in crypto. First question that I want to ask you, what exactly has happened? How did it all start? Where was the investment essentially made? And were you aware that this was actually an investment in crypto?
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much for allowing me to come. We heard from one of our common friend. We came to know all the packages what the company was giving. Then we went through all the packages. We started investing small by 500 USDT. And as per the package, they gave the return in 7 days. Then 3-4 friends, we came together and we saw that, yes, these are giving returns. So let us start big, because in big package, they were giving good returns. Then we 3-4 friends came together and in the tune of 20,000 USDT we invested. One of the person from Nepal also gave us very encouraging signs that I am investing since last 6 months and I have got millions of rupees through millions of dollars through it. and you can be assured that definitely you will get good money out of it. And I
What?
have all the screenshots and the proof and transaction, everything mail in on the mail I have got. Then this big investment which I made,
Were you just
it
one
was
question that I would like to
for
take
30
from you
days.
before I
After,
also, bring in my panelists to try and understand your situation, because a lot of people like you have actually spoken about this. But as I understand, because I've gone through some of the documents that you've shared with us, it does appear that you were basically lured, or you were essentially told that there would be heavy returns, especially exactly what happens in a crypto investment. Is that what happened in your case? That you were
yeah,
essentially
definitely.
lured by saying that, okay, look here, crypto is now booming across the globe. Perhaps you're going to get heavy returns because of the boom that we are seeing in crypto.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, they are still duping people. They are still on the Telegram group. They are still giving all the on the YouTube. They are giving all their. I have shared with you all the YouTube links also, and still they are duping the people, and they are asking for more money. When the just I'm completing my
Okay.
story, wherein when this package was came for maturity, at that time they told ki our application is going for upgradation. When we went for upgradation, then at that time they started asking for more USDT. Then after that we invested more 500 USDT on each and every package, but still
Okay.
they kept on asking more money, and
Fine.
then we sensed that it is a scam, and we stopped ourselves investing more. And shortly, we will be going for
Okay.
cyber cell also for complaining this thing.
Right.
Sure,
Well, thank you very
I'm
much
complete.
for joining us on this broadcast and sharing your story, because it's important that we basically raise that awareness. Let me go back to my panelist. Nikhil, I want you to come in, and then Chandni can basically respond as we are running out of time. Nikhil, you've heard one of the victims essentially talking about this entire crypto investment, and with the way essentially it is made out to look like there is uh, a great return that one may have in that kind of an investment. So what's the problem here?
So here, what I understand, and I have investigated many of the similar cases like this, and the Telegram channel basically, which he is mentioning about. So while investigating such cases, so there is a same person who is into multiple Telegram channels, and again like motivating people for investing more and more money so that they get more returns. And in this scenario, we have tried to trace back that Telegram user also by using our IP grabbing techniques. And there is where we came to know that this basically people are belonging from some from Hong Kong, some from China, and some from the similar regions. Also, again, when they are going for withdraw, they are asking for to pay basically more and more tax here. And I also wanted to tell you the documents which the people are the attackers basically are sending are all fake documents. So whenever they are sending something like a receipt, they literally design in a photo editing app, and they send it to them that okay, this is the receipt, and this is a computer generated receipt, and this and that, and they generate a random receipt number out of it. And like there is no verification metrics to it, and they basically print a address which is an international address, and this is how basically they get. And I also wanted to reply to one of the question
Okay.
about the KYC. So all this question KYC, again, you go on the dark web, you will get thousands of Aadhaar card and thousands of PAN card, and in like a few dollars.
That's the concern.
Also and
That's the concern.
that is how exactly, and that is how basically you get any of the Aadhaar card, PAN card, and you open an account. So where is the legitimacy into
Okay.
this whole picture? And that
Nikhil,
is
I'm
the
running out
reason.
of time. So Nikhil, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm really running out of time. I just want to give a quick word to Chandni and Manoj. Both of you quickly, you've heard one of the victims coming on this broadcast and talking about his plight. There are several thousands others like that. In fact, we've got a huge response on our story. A lot of calls really coming into our newsrooms, responses on social media. In fact, while you were talking, I was just looking at some of those people who are trying to get in touch with us because they've also been duped in some way or the other. So Chandni and Manoj Jain, there are some very serious concerns that we need to deal with.
Manoj, you would like to go first?
Yeah, so basically, there's a problem. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Manoj, quickly. I'm really running short of time.
Yeah, sorry.
Just a quick
I'm sorry.
So,
So basically, all such people who are running MLM schemes for decades, they have started using name of crypto to fool people, and all such people must be punished because they're kind of using the crypto or blockchain industry name and making it looking like dirty. I would like to just comment on one thing which is related to your first comment was related to your trends. So I want to share that the overall globally 2021 figure, global transactions were $15.8 trillion as per Chainalysis, the research firm, and the criminal proceeds and these scams have come down to 0.15%. In 2020 they were 0.62%, and in 2019 they were 3% because there was a big scam which has happened. So that you said the trend is going up. Trend is not. We do not recommend these Ponzi schemes at all. They're not part of crypto system. We are absolutely against people using cryptocurrencies for money laundering. No, that's not we stand for. We stand for technology, and we want to bring in new Web3 innovations from India. If more of this happens, nothing we have but to ship outside India.
I'm really sorry to cut you short. We're getting in some more breaking news right now. I'm sorry to interrupt all our guests right now. We're getting in some more breaking news. In fact, this is the latest now coming in from New York. A shocking incident of author Salman Rushdie has now been attacked on stage at an event in Western New York. In fact, these are reports that we are quoting right now. Author Salman Rushdie was attacked on stage in New York. The latest now coming in is that he was about to give a lecture in Western New York. In fact, what you see right now on your screens, these are those images of the moment Salman Rushdie was on the dais. There is a person who basically witnessed a man storming the stage and began punching Salman Rushdie. We're not very sure of what's the condition of the author at this point in time, but he's been facing death threats for a very long time. In fact, it dates back all the way to 1980s, but that's the latest now coming in. Salman Rushdie, author, has been attacked while he was about to give a lecture in Western New York. In fact, some reports now also coming in that perhaps they witnessed a man storming the stage and then began punching Rushdie. Not very sure whether he was stabbed, because there are some reports suggesting that he was also stabbed, but we'll wait for some more information to come in. So we'll do a short break. On the other side, we'll get in more details.
A labourer from Bihar was fired upon by terrorists at Jammu and Kashmir's Bandipora district on the intervening night of Thursday and Friday, following which he succumbed. The deceased labourer was identified as Mohammad Amrez, hailing from Bihar's Madhepura. Accusing the centre of misusing investigative agencies such as ED and CBI, Trinamool Congress organised statewide protests against agencies following successive arrests of two leaders of its party in different scams. The BJP shared facts over freebies over education by the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi, citing how only 2 students had availed an education loan, at least 89 had applied for, while 19 crore rupees was spent in order to promote the scheme in 2021 and 2022. At least 17 individuals remain missing as rescue operations continued on the Yamuna near Banda, Uttar Pradesh, side of a boat capsized. The boat is reported to have turned over due to being overfilled. As many as 6 people were killed after a car rammed into an auto rickshaw and motorbike near Dali village of Anand district in Gujarat. Police said that 4 people in the rickshaw and 2 on the bike died on the spot, while the driver of the car is under treatment.
अराउंड 6:30 से 7 के बीच में किया सेल्टोस गाड़ी ने बाइक को और रिक्शा को टक्कर मारी थी। वो एक्सीडेंट हुआ है जिसमें 6 लोगों की मौत हो चुकी है और जो गाड़ी चालक था वो भी आनंद में अंडर ट्रीटमेंट है। जो कार चालक था उसकी गाड़ी के अंदर जी उस मामले में पुलिस तपास कर रही है कि ये किसके द्वारा रखी गई थी और किसकी।
Raids being conducted in at least 26 places related to former AIDMK MLA KPP Bhaskar in Tamil Nadu in connection with disproportionate assets amassed. Bhaskar is an associate of former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and AIDMK Interim General Secretary E. Palanisamy. An individual was recently arrested following a video obtained by the SIT in Kalakurchi case. The accused was absconding ever since the incident. The violence broke out on the 17th of July at the school premises after a large number of locals and outsiders broke the barricades and placed near the institution and stormed into the campus following the death of a student. Getting in pictures of the collapse of a flyover at Solan in Himachal Pradesh, at least 2 vehicles were reported to have been affected as a result of that collapse.
And news in brief, with the change in government in Bihar, a session of the State Assembly will be convened on 24th of August. Legislators of the ruling Mahagathbandhan have given a notice for the removal of Speaker Vijay Kumar Sinha. Sinha, meanwhile, who is a BJP MLA, refused to comment on the no confidence notice that has been submitted against him. A labourer from Bihar was fired upon by terrorists at Saudnara Sambal in Jammu and Kashmir's Bandipora district on the intervening night of Thursday and Friday, following which he succumbed to his injuries. The deceased labourer was identified as Muhammad Amrez, who hailed from Bihar's Madhepura. AAP MLA Saurabh Bharadwaj said that the Delhi government could not give
Republic blows the lid of the 1,000 crore national crypto scam. Modus operandi of the fake loan apps exposed. In a massive crackdown on crypto irregularities, raids conducted in various cities of the country. Republic Media Network investigation exposes how the proceeds of the cryptocurrency scam were routed to China. It's a new wave of nationalism ahead of the 75th Independence Day, and no more suppressing nationalism.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
And news in brief, with the change in government in Bihar, a session of the State Assembly will be convened on 24th of August. Legislators of the ruling Mahagathbandhan have given a notice for the removal of Speaker Vijay Kumar Sinha. Sinha, meanwhile, who is a BJP MLA, refused to comment on the no confidence notice that has been submitted against him. A labourer from Bihar was fired upon by terrorists at Saudnara Sambal in Jammu and Kashmir's Bandipora district on the intervening night of Thursday and Friday, following which he succumbed to his injuries. The deceased labourer was identified as Muhammad Amrez, who hailed from Bihar's Madhepura. AAP MLA Saurabh Bharadwaj said that the Delhi government could not give cash rewards to Commonwealth Games bronze medal winner Divya Kakran as she represents Uttar Pradesh. His statement came after Indian wrestler Kakran accused the Delhi government of not giving any kind of help, because of which she was forced to move to Uttar Pradesh. India expressed concerns over the reports of shelling near the fuel shortage